I often laugh to myself when I see people working so hard to create more and more ads, but they're making little small improvements because number one, it's sad, but also like, dude, at the end of the day, I want to scale the laziest way possible. I want to do the least amount of effort to generate the most amount of return, and making hundreds and thousands of ads a month, it's helpful, but also it's like the most amount of effort possible for not the same amount of return. Now, if you're a really good advertiser, sure, you can make a lot of lift from that, but I would much rather put a short amount of effort to make such marginal returns. And for example, there's been many times I have grown the return of an ad account by not even touching the ad account. And those are the things I want to walk through in this video. And there's many things you can do, but I'm just going to share my favorite things, the things that I'm doing right now. And while I'm not one that says you should live and die by your ad account ROAS, in fact, I've made many videos talking about living and dying by your ad account ROAS is actually probably the thing that's actually keeping you from growing. But it's also nice to see for the same amount of money I'm spending, I get double the return by doing nothing in the ad account. And that's more so what this video is about. What are the things I should be doing outside of the ad account that will actually make running ads easier, scale harder, and more profitable? All right, so what are some of these non-ad account things that if you do it, will actually increase your return? There's four of them. There's four that every time I work with a brand, these are the first four things I always look at, because the four things experience has proven to me over 7 years, seeing 350 brands my team has worked with, that has proven to scale a brand by literally touching nothing in the ad account. All right, so what are those things? The first one is going to be copy on your product page. Now, I just want to pause here for a second for the scoffers who are like, oh my gosh, dude, you gotta be kidding me. That can't make the list. It does make the list because so few people actually touch the product page copy. It's the same copy they've had literally for years on that page, but it makes a freaking big difference. For example, this is a brand right here that we just, all we did was change the copy on the product page. And look at that lift in conversion rate. Look how big that is. A 94% significant probability for a 92% increase just by changing the product page copy. So for example, there's two brands that do a really good job of this, and I want to shout out those people. So Original Grain is a watch brand that does this. And my friend Nate Lagos used to be the CMO of that brand. So why is this important? Because copy is one of the first things people see when they come to a page, but also it's the thing as much as the imagery that creates an emotional response. So just by changing the copy or the narrative, you can change how it triggers inside of a person emotionally. You can use it to also address the mass desire as well. And I've made many videos talking about mass desire, and that is why should people give a crap about this particular thing? And that's why copy is so important. And so for example, I showed you this example. This isn't these two, but this is a product page test we did that increased just by changing the copy. But I remember Nate telling me for this is the brand that he ran, he said just by adding this thing right here, increased it by over 30%, the conversion rate, just by adding this copy here. And I know for this brand right here, because they talked about it a lot, just by adding this copy above their headline, increased it statistically significant by over 10% as well. And just the product page copy line, it's one of the easiest things you can test. Test headline, test the description. And also one of my favorite things is like test the name of your product. I know that's annoying maybe for the back of house, but even testing the name of your product can have significant improvements, especially if the only difference is just the name of the product on Shopify. Like give that a test. But without a doubt, one of the first things you should be doing literally after you get done watching this video is start running split tests on copy. Start adding in the mass desire why people want it. Add in the benefits. Split test the name of the product. Split test the copy on your collection pages. Split test the copy in your description. They're so easy to do, and it takes a little bit of effort that can have massive improvements. Because imagine, on this particular test, we just changed the headline. So that was the headline above the product title. So that's something that we do. So by the way, I mean to skip that. Is for this example, one thing that we'll do is we'll have this right here, the product title. I have tested reviews above it, but what we'll do is if you got rid of these reviews, for example, we'll have a call out. The call out can be a headline. It can be what you want to draw your attention to. For example, let's say, for example, this is a supplement brand. I could say known to clear up skin in 60 days. And then I would have the name of the product. But that call out's really freaking important, however you want to do it. And just by running this test right here, 92% increase on the conversion rate on that page. But don't discount product page copy. Because guys, you're spending 10, 1500, sometimes some of you guys watching this video, maybe 6 figures a month in ad spend, driving traffic to that product page. Like, maximize everything you possibly can, okay? And product page copy is massive to increasing conversion rate. And if you do that, so imagine, I don't think people understand this, by increasing this baseline 92% by this test, just by the product copy, what that meant was like my ROAS in the ad account increased 90%. That's like going from a 2x ROAS to like a 3.7, 3.8 by literally changing nothing, adding no new ads, no new ad spend, doing nothing increases that, but that multiple, I'm making way more money after that. So don't discount that. All right, number 2, gamifying the checkout. This takes some technical expertise because you have to do some coding on this. And why you want to do this is you're trying to maximize how can I squeeze more out of what's already happening in my store without increasing my workload and my costs, by making hundreds and thousands of ads. I'm not against that, but it's a lot of freaking work. I would much rather squeeze more out of what I can right now, people already on my website. A great way to do that is by gamifying the checkout. Now, why do you do this? You do it because when people are going to check out, they have many reasons maybe they might want to leave, but I'm trying to incentivize them in a fun way to add more to their cart, to continue shopping more, to spend more with me. So I'm getting them to spend more every time that they visit. And there's a lot of ways you can do that, but here's a really great way that I'm loving. Is right here. This brand, as I'm going to pick the sizing right here, it's telling me right away that, hey, you have one thing if you add it to cart, but if you add 2 items, you're going to save 5%. I mean, human psychology means you're spending more money, but in its mind, it's like, oh, I'm saving 5%. And if you add 5 items to cart at a certain AOV, you'll get 10%. 7, you'll get 15%. And it's a really great way to gamify how many things that they're adding to cart. Also, they make it really easy by recommending, because this is the top, by the way. This is a top right here. This is the top. Recommending, make it a set. Complete the set. Because if you add those things right there, you're also going to save money, which is not saving money, you're actually spending more money. But the psychology of a human is like, I'm saving money. So that's number 1. Gamify the checkout process on the product page. That's 1. The second one right here, it's reinforced in the cart slide out. So this is when you add to cart, this is a slide out on the product page. And it also reinforces right here, hey, you should add more to your cart to get this thing. And you can change this. Like I've seen this change. We've changed it to where it's, hey, you're $10 away from free shipping. Here are some things that you should add to your cart that either complement your look, complete the set, or do this to get the free shipping. Or they said, hey, you're $10 away from a free gift. Another really great thing to gamify this. And that's what they've done. Now, once I add 2 things to cart, this right here also recommends, hey, we think we'd also like this. But also, since I've added 2 things to cart, it's like, great, you just unlock 5%. And also, you see right there, it crosses that out and adds the new price. Really great idea. Plus, it reinforces this, the bundle. Great idea. And it also notifies me that now there's free shipping on the order, which is dope. Because here, if you saw before, I wish they would have changed this, but it had your 2 items away from 5%, but also $39 away from free shipping. And then once I did that, unlock free shipping. And here's what's cool. Once I'm on the product page, so I added these to cart, and then it recommends keep bundling these to save more. Keep bundling. And so gamifying this process, I can tell you with 100% certainty, because it also tells you total savings. That's a great idea. Is 100% certainty. This is increasing their average order value significantly. Again, we're doing things outside the ad account that improve our ad account return without changing a single thing. And gamifying the checkout, without a doubt, is one of the best things you can do. There's apps that do this. From my experience, what I see working the best is frankly just kind of hard coding it. Those apps do a good job. So like Aftersell does this, One Click Upsell does this. But the coding that you can do, you can almost do anything you can imagine. And I really do like that if you either have the team to do that, which is exciting. All right, number 3, upsells pre and post checkout. So why do you want to do this? This is very similar to gamification. And this gamification, it bundles in upsells, as you can see right here, and you can see right here. But not everyone wants to do this gamification. Not everyone has the funds or the team to do it. But even if you just do upsells pre and post checkout, massive improvements. So for example, right here, this particular brand, they do an additional 200 grand just by doing this. And so what I like to do is the following. Is let's say, for example, this is your order page right here. This is your order page. Okay. This is pre-checkout. This is post-checkout. Okay. What I like to do is when someone adds something to cart, I like to essentially get an upsell. I could call it order bump, an upsell, and then post, because they have the thank you page right here. After someone buys, they go to a thank you page. I like to, on the thank you page, give what's called a post-purchase upsell. Now, what's really cool about this is, depending on the platform you use, it already has stored their credit card details and their payment details, where all they have to do is just click a button. They don't have to add their card details again. They just click a button and it automatically adds it to their previous order. So it's like very frictionless, but it's also very easy for them to do that. And it makes a crap ton of money. So for example, here's an example of a brand. This was their cart. So this was, sorry for the move around. This was their pre. You add things to cart. It's like, great. You're $47 more for free shipping. Adds in the different products. Okay, you should add this to your cart for this. And then the post, this is post. After they purchase, this is shown on the thank you confirmation page that says, hey, do you also want to add this? Offer expires here. Now, makes big improvements to your AOV. So you can literally only add this one thing, and each increment that it adds to your average order value increases your return on ad spend in your ad account, but adding no new ads, spending no new money, and it does that. And that's why I'm a huge believer in these as well. All right, number 4, your carousel images. I have to give credit where credit is due. This came from my buddy, Chris Lang. He runs Fresh Chili, and we've seen this play out now after him giving this really great tip. And that is, think of it like a human perspective. You go to a product page, you're just trying to have more information. And the thought experiment is you should treat your carousel images like ads, okay? You should not just show pictures of the product, but show pictures of the benefit, the uses of it. You should be split testing your carousel images. So for example, on your product page, this is your product page right here. And these are what I mean by the carousel images. And I kid you not, by testing your carousel images, I have seen conversion rate lifts upwards of 11% in the conversion rate, depending on what you put in the carousel. Because of everything on the product page, if you look at the heat maps, these buttons are freaking hot, man. They're probably the most touch part of anything on your product page, except for like people doing the drop downs to look at the description and read more information. These things are a gold mine. So whatever you put here is going to be the most viewed parts on your product page. And so the thought experiment that works is, don't just have pictures of your product, but like use those like ads where you talk about things like the benefits. Okay, that's a big one. Show benefits. Okay, create social proof, how it's used. Also, show diversity, show like diversity of how it can be used, different types of people, different types of bodies, okay? Especially if you have a product that does like before and afters, or your product lends to before and afters or showing before and afters, do that. If you have like collabs, do that, okay? And you wanna split test those things, but these make big differences. And so we had a brand that we started heavily testing just the carousel images, and I kid you not, the ad account ROAS went up without launching new ads, without changing the spend, no new ad account structure, just by doing that. Why? Because you're increasing the amount of people who are going to buy by doing and changing the things that they're already going to look at. You're just making it better, because people will give you more money if you help them make a decision faster. And so if you help them make a decision faster, like give them more information, the carousel images, treat them like ads, you will help them to make a decision faster, and they will reward you by making a decision faster, right? Those 4 things are probably the most important things that you should do the moment you stop watching this video to increase your ad account ROAS by literally touching nothing in your ad account. And I'm going to rephrase it again. Like for some of those split tests that I showed, I've seen our ROAS double overnight. The moment those tests launched, were confirmed, and then we put it live to 100% of the traffic by touching nothing. That's how important even the things outside of the ad account are. So yes, you have to make more content, launch more ads. It's a big deal, but that is just one part of the formula. Focus on the other parts as well, because if you do those while also make more content, you're going to make way more money overall. And so if you like these kind of strategies and you want help doing it, we have our mentorship group where we teach these strategies, teach you how to do these things. You also can work with us on the agency side if you're doing over $50,000 a month, where brands hire us to take it off their hands for them. But if you want to do it yourself, that's fine too. You can reach out to me on X, on Instagram. I answer all those platforms, or keep watching this content. So make sure you subscribe. And also, if you have questions, put it in the comment, because I love questions. I love to answer questions. I'm doing this not because I make money from it. I do because I like to help people, and I love teaching people as well. So I'll see you in the next video.